Romantic Developer, Late Night Talks with Romantic Developer, and episode number 185. It's what we need to know right now. And now I'm checking the sound because I'm using another equipment once again. Hello. Okay, I can hear myself. Cool. Oh, sorry. Sounds. So let's start what we are doing here. Let's go into some technical details right now because looks like we work on thing which called right now AI agents, and we even don't know. We just built some tool. Okay, it's a problem with that. Okay, it's a problem with current word. There are so many new words that even developers like me not looking into them exactly, and sometimes I could feel slightly silly because I don't know what it's mean. I have my own understanding, and it's much more complicated than actual understanding, you know. Yeah, because I'm old. I'm too old, but yeah, it shouldn't stop us from looking into some nice stuff, correct? Let me see. I just opened live chat here, so I don't miss anything. Okay, let's try to do. So what we are doing, basically, we are building some tools which allow us to work with YouTube videos, work in many nice ways. Right now, the only thing which make our AI agent not full AI agent, because we don't have a normal way to interact with it. What I mean, we need to run some command. Now, of course, we created 100 times batch files which do the same, but I haven't created, yeah, right now this one. So we need to execute Python, execute main PI, and say full process. And also we need to say update YouTube. So we want that do some actions, because otherwise it do actions, but on our local system with that it will do update YouTube. And that's it. So what I do, I download my stream, my last stream, which I forgot to process yesterday. It took its name from YouTube, it's connect to YouTube, it's then download it locally. Yeah, once it's processed by YouTube, it's do it pretty fast. But nice thing, it can download it while it go, or even 1 second after the stream ended, and you don't have. I mean, if you haven't preserved the copy of that on your local computer, you don't have that availability. And multiple tools, including online websites, some downloaders doesn't allow you to download stream which just finished, but our tool allow, because it's used the latest version of YouTube-DLP, another free and open source tool which very cool and informative in that. So the other thing we are doing is to transform what we've downloaded into audio smallest possible. We can convert into OGG format. You see, it has about 1 minute 28, 1 hour 28 minutes. We converted with that speed, so we already converted about 1 hour. I included extensive logging into that tool, so I know what is broken in case it's broken. Yeah, and it's open source tool and free, available to everyone. What I'm thinking, to build some website, but you don't need to do all that setup, which is not complex at all, of course, but anyway, and you can use it mostly for free or with a very small amount of money, just to run LLM models, because LLM models cost money to run, you know. You can do some basic ChatGPT questions in Copilot or even free ChatGPT chat or others. But if you want any production type scale, of course you need to pay, and they're not as powerful as what you can receive for the money. So yeah, it's the thing. Right now we're basically using some, oh, by the way, we're using Whisper. We're using Whisper through API just to speed up the things. But also what we can do, we can start our live transcriber and we can start our, so in other tools, and we can start a live chatbot. The only thing for the live chatbot, because it don't, I mean, it's not my channel, it's not me will communicate, but another channel with that nice chatbot image. We just need go to our romantic developer channel, get that to the latest stream, stop it, please stop it. And yeah, maybe we just need to copy that ID, video ID or stream ID. And probably we could see the chat here just in case we need some testing. So, and let's start our live chatbot. It's some tool which also actually LLM agent. I'm sorry, AI agent. Why it's AI agent? Because it uses tools. So it uses tools to read something from chat, to put something to chat, so it could read, it could understand what you're asking and reply. It maintains some memory, so it's do some memory. Also, it's yeah, it's know how to get some information. Like right now, what we talking at the moment, you see. Hello. What we talking? Yeah, you see, it's some delay, but it's not actual real time, but it's very close to real time. Maybe up to 10 seconds delay, so it's good. Yeah, so it could reply to any questions. For example, what did the host done in the last stream? Oh, we still need to update some tools description because it's not always doing the greatest things possible. So we asked from chatbot what the did was done in the last stream, you see, and it should read it. It's just not read it every second. We just said, okay, we need to read it into oh. So in the last stream, the host discussed software development, shared experience, demonstrated YouTube AI helper for improving video transcription metadata. And it's replied to that. So, but here in the tool, it didn't do the best possible tool. It said, oh, get last stream context. Nice. Okay, taking my words back. But let's see what our main tool is doing. Hello. So it's sending. Now looks like my computer is dying under the load. 183. So it generated some prompts. Let's add some, some date modified, and let's remove all that, all these prompts. Why? Because it's created not on the best possible transcript. Let me tell you, our chatbot, not our chatbot, our bot, which is not our bot, okay, our tool, our AI agent, our tool, it's not only received transcript from Whisper, but now it's knowing about what we are talking, etc. It processes this transcript, and now it divided into several chunks and ask ChatGPT or some LLM model to improve the transcript, maintaining the SRT format, etc., etc. Then it will send all the parts, improve them. It will make words. We could see, yeah, it's some of my tests. And here is our original transcript. Let's look it in more options. Okay, original and edit in Notepad. So it's our original transcript, and see, it's have very little sentences. It's mostly the words like you will see in our normal YouTube stream. If you go here and if we even enable that live chat, and because we have enabled our transcript, you could see that what's going on. Yes, I'm talking and it just add one word after another, and it would be like no sentences, etc., etc. And it do very bad if in case I talk in different language, because YouTube, I don't know what models they're using, but Whisper doing it much better. And when we talk about Whisper SDK, it use some large model by default, large V2, and it's do perfectly. I could speak mix of languages. I could speak with some other people, and it can identify languages pretty cool and return a very good text. So please unfroze my computer. Now it's ending second part, and I'll see you the magic once it's process all the three parts for improvements. It's our chatbot and it's our live transcriber, which also probably eats something. But with that live transcriber, we can always go to our chat and ask what I have missed in this stream, in current stream. Please summarize. So when we ask question like that, even with errors, it could understand that. And once it's pick up that message, it understands that it need to call some function, and it's that get current real-time stream content. And actually, it's picking up what we're talking here because it's preserved into the file, and it's just pick it from the file and provide us some good answer, like was discussed in the live chat bot and AI agent addressing issues with transcription, test improvements, better response, blah, blah, blah. It's not, it's not so funny. We have some fun bots, but I will not execute them as well, just to not overload my computer, which is not good at the moment for some reason. So last stream, we improved a lot how our live transcriber is working. Live transcriber is just listening what we are talking right now, and it's transcribe into the text and preserve the text into the file, into the text file. So see, it's say improved transcript, and if we go here, it say it was replaced. It's replaced because why? Because we have our original SRT preserved, and we have our new transcripts and everything, which should be much better, but it's not much better. For some reason, it started in some dots sometimes. But anyways, see. Hello, welcome to the late night talks with Romantic Developer. Today we have more than a half year, and even if it feels like a year long. Here's what I'm doing right now is just disconnecting just to see if I can hear. Okay, so sometimes it's adding, sometimes it's not. Probably I need to modify prompt, so because I saw that once it's updated, yeah, in recent streams it's become quite aggressive with that 3 dots for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, sometimes it's okay. Now it's, you see, it's doing much better. Yeah, we tried test our transcriber, so we talk some nonsense. But yeah, later it's doing just great, but on initial thing, sometimes it's doing not so well. Interesting. How it's possible? Okay, most probable our initial transcription of our stream wasn't as beautiful as we want. Another task for us to do, but anyway, it's doing pretty good. And once it's do that, it's generate, multiple things like description for the stream, and as part of the description, it's include some new like nicely done chapters, and in those chapters it's properly identify when we change our topic. So it's very nice to create video chapters, which could be very devastating if we have long streams. Then it combined into the nice description. It shows some key highlights, our video chapters, some engaging syncs to connect, etc., etc., and start with some summary of the stream. Also, it provides some keywords which are related to the stream. Also, it's try to provide some nice title. We can add much more prompts. It's all configurable. We just add new text file and say, please do that with the transcript, and it will say you, it will create you whatever you want. It could create post for Twitter X, Twitter X, for Telegram, for Facebook, etc., etc. It could generate thumbnails, etc., etc. So possibilities are endless, let's say. But yeah, with thumbnails, I'm joking because we don't have a code to generate thumbnails. You can ask it, but it will not respond because we could try to generate thumbnails. We just need to connect proper model, DaVinci or other model, and properly handle the result. We could generate something which support schemas and structured output, and we preserve it as JSON. So it has a lot of capabilities. And the nicest thing is go and update original video with all of those properties, and also it uploads the proper captions. In that case, not the best captions, but of course better than default. And after that, for example, if I'd go to Semantic developer and check my previous stream, live stream, not the live which is right now, but previous, you see that it's unlocking the secrets of AI power automation. And if you will go here, you see update, unlocking the secrets of AI powered automation, boost a channel effortlessly. And let's see where is the title. I don't see the title. Let's close it. Boost your channel effortlessly. So we see that it's basically the same. And yeah, the only thing that sometimes it generate nice text, like with one asterisk, then it will be bold. If it two, it doesn't understand that. But you see, it's nice icon, proper parts here. Again, we probably need to update the prompts because we work on the prompts, but not too much. And of course, you can provide your prompts, which will insert what you want, what you need into those things, into those descriptions, and that's it. So, okay, let's close this. Let's return here. So we created that bot, that agent, that AI agent. The only thing, it's not so nice to communicate with. And I'm thinking about creating something more interesting and maybe even more generic. For that, I think maybe I'll use some of today time, just to try and think about what we need to do. As you know, I like to put some plan for myself, and then I normally just go and from all gray I do all red. So it means we implemented the things we planned. There are some things which we still have to do here with local Python script update, but maybe it could be improved. It could be included into the main paradigm when we build AI agent. I don't know. Is it good name for thing or not? AI agent. I'm not sure, but okay. If we build AI agent, it could be part of those, and let's think about what it would be. So it's something we did some chatbot integration, and we decided, okay, we need live chatbot, which we have. It's here. It's answering the questions in the chat, and it can use some tools. We have live transcriber now because initially we tried to use real-time API for transcription and it didn't work well. So we can say that it's, let's say, green. Oh, it's all green. No. Let's do something like that. No, doesn't work. Let's see what we've done. Let's instead to do, say, real-time bot, live chat bot. We implemented real-time audio and text chat. Marvin we have as well. So let's say that we have all those things implemented. And for Marvin, for live chat bot, get information from the document to build our context for providing answers in the live chat. We build that. Marvin is cool thing, and it's something we still have to build. Keep notes, transcriptions of live chat, and add this to document of some form. Reply to our audio input only when we press some button, enable some mode, support switch to the chatbot mode role. If you restart, it should continue and transcript to existing file. If it should put in that file its answers in voice. So right now, Marvin, we deprioritize it. If it's even nice when you can talk to someone with voice and it reply you, it's with some tone of some creepy robot. No, not creepy, of course. Very smart, but very tired robot from Hitchhiker's Guide by Galaxy. I always mixing this. So we already basically do all of those in that third bot, which is not bot, but our live transcriber. So maybe let's just deprioritize it, like keep notes, reply to our audio input only if we press some button or some mode, support switch of the chat mode, of the chatbot mode role. We try several modes, like we tried Terminator 2, we tried Marvin, probably there are some other nice bot we want to try, like Futurama, Blender, or others. And let's mark it in some color. It's not border, it's a color of the text. Okay, and let's call it maybe green. Looks like done. Let's yellow. It would be yellow, and let's make a background color like gray. Okay, now it looks like to do. Maybe. What if we do? Oh, we haven't selected it. Bright yellow. Yeah, bright yellow looks slightly better. And that's things we'll try to incorporate. But now let's think about other Semantic developer YouTube channel things we can do. And maybe we could say not transition, but basically layout. Let's it be some slide like this. 03 generic AI agent worker. It would be nice if we could create something generic. I know there are multiple ways of creating generic AI agents or something, but you know, it's never bad thing to think about something new. Even if it's not new, it would be just experience. But this time we really need such type of experience. Probably this one. What if we remove this? Can we remove this? What is that? It's different layout. Oh, that one is better. and we just say generic AI agent, and maybe we could say like worker, developer, video content editor, and so on. Actually, not video content editor, but video descriptor, video SMM. Let's call it video marketing. So what we are going to add here? Maybe it's text. Can we draw here? Yeah, we can do some shapes. So what we have, of course, we have in the center, we don't have anything else except LLMs at the moment. Yeah, it's everything we have, and it's LLMs. It could be Chat, GPT, 4 or 01, 03, etc. Let's call some Llama 3.3. Maybe Cloud D, Cloud Dev. Oh, I'm not sure. Anthropic. Some models from Google. It's also, and so on and so on. So probably we can say open source and others. So it's all LLMs. It's all LLMs. But agent, it's not something which work on itself. It requires some loop, like our agent in the chat or that transcriber here. GPT. Why it says GPT if it's GPT? Chat GPT. Not D, but T. T as a tree. Okay, now it's understand me. Treasure. T as in treasure. Yeah. Will you translate? Oh, will you catch up that? Hey. Oh. I'm sorry. I just stopped scrolling for some reason. And yeah, it's working fine. So okay. So for that, it should work in some loop. And of course, itself, it couldn't do a lot of things. It can answer the questions. So it has, let's say, some input, and it could provide, you know, some output. It's working like that. Of course, some different models like O1 and 4 is different because O1 try to mimic syncing and basically most probably generate several approaches and then try to choose the best one, and then it try to do some how you can improve it, how you can test it, how you verify it, etc., etc. So we don't know what it's do internally, but surely it's do what they call syncing, which increases price of this model significantly. But for us, it's like a, let's say, black box right now. Yes, we just could provide some input and receive some output. And right now, by default, those models, many of those models now supporting tools. Tools is something very strange. We can call it like strange, of course. It's like before tools were injected into those models, you can say, hey, if you think it would be helpful, you can reply to me something like, please find that in internet and provide search string, or like just internet and search string. If you think that right now user should save that file to the disk, please reply save and file name in the brackets, and so on. And then you read that, and if you find patterns like save or internet, etc., okay, you need to execute something, get result, and ask it once again with previous context, of course. And context is just our communication before, all the communication. So it's know what it asks, what we replied, so it would make it like do it pretty nice and predictably. I'm sorry. So let's call it tools. Okay, and tools, basically it's everything. Every function we can imagine as helpful. For example, the most probably useful tools function, it would be internet search, correct? Search something in internet because models are never up to date. They have great knowledge, they studied on a lot of data, but they still have lack of the latest knowledge. So in ChatGPT, they do a trick. When you ask something, it can search internet. They have good relationship with Microsoft, with Bing, so they do something, but search and let's say internet. And let's connect it. Maybe like that. Do we have any other lines? Oh, we have that elbow connector. Let's remove this. Let's add this. Nice. Now we have, but oh no. Yes, and now we have good thing. And what if we will copy? And what if we just make it very small? Okay. Working, we don't need a lot of things, but we need just to gather our understanding to some diagram, so we could I could understand how we can build that and how it could be useful even in that our scenario when we build in 7. And in that particular case, let's call it maybe not internet, but let's call it our data. And when we say our data, of course, you probably know that all that context with which ChatGPT can work, it's pretty limited. Of course, it's not as small as memory of many people. Of course, people's memory are very large. It's so big that people always underestimate its own memory. But yeah, so let's call it context. Maybe do something like that, and it's what we always will paste into the model, we want it or not, we need actually we want, let's remove that right now, and let's use that sync as well here. So it's our context. Context, as I said, it's our previous conversation as minimum, and it would be more and more sync in that context once we try to do something. So we can I move my camera? Okay, I can. It's, by the way, my t-shirt, which display something like some circuit board, which is very nice. Okay, so we have context, we have our data, we have our internet, and we have tools. Tools which, for example, which could also be part of other execute other LLMs. Yes, for example, and not exactly LLMs, because we have so many models which can produce, they call it still LLMs, but let's divide models which can return some data in text format or in structured format, with models which could get return data, for example, as images, as video. Maybe it's the same. Should we do that differentiation? Should we do differentiation between what model can take as input? For example, sound or text or image. Okay, let's just took as one of our tools. Let's copy, paste, and can we move it separately? Yeah, we can. Oh, please connect. We can call it like Whisper, but Whisper is just one of the possible tools. Whisper is good, great. I did some testing when I decided to choose Whisper, and other models show much worse results, again, especially with audio in different languages. I need to do some of the model which can do something with, let's say, which can interact with languages like Slavic languages, etc., like Russian, Ukrainian, and others. And yeah, other speech-to-text models were much worse than Whisper. I tried multiple. I tried from Google. I tried from even that from Microsoft. I don't remember how it's called. Even local, when it says voice input, etc., etc. And yeah, I have some playground where I could test multiple, and I found that Whisper doing the best, the greatest thing, especially if you need to switch between languages, it's also doing great. There are a few things which not implemented in Whisper, like it couldn't identify nicely all the speakers. If there are multiple speakers, it could, but it's not in open source version, which is freely available to public, and other things. There are some addition to that, but yeah, because I don't need that, and I'm not building that for those things, like identifying speakers, so on, it's worked nicely for my case. So, and when we say in generic AI agent, let's think about what we are doing right now with video. So it could it could download video, it could upload video, and so on and so on. Of course, maybe as subcategory of the tools, it would be some, how it's called, connectors to different systems. What I mean, example, YouTube. Let's call it YouTube because we work with YouTube a lot. So, hello. Okay, you don't want come here normally. Maybe like this. Maybe like this. Okay. Okay, and YouTube, what the things we are doing at the moment right now with YouTube? We use YouTube SDK. By the way, yesterday we hit some limit for our test application. We couldn't get information from the chat because we hit like 10,000 API operations. Probably operation like get messages from the chat cost much more than one operation in some tokens, so I don't know. But yeah, it's how we get those a lot like suspended. We have us suspended from the service for a few hours, and it was pity because we have to stop our chatbot. And let's say read videos, streams. Maybe it would be come on. Let's say not read but update. Update. Okay. Let's say interact with live chat. Live chat interactions. I believe let's keep it. Okay. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, it still looks good, but of course it's not the way we need to build the diagrams. We already know, but I'm too lazy to use some other software for diagrams. So Google Slides, again, not the best, of course, but mighty. Okay, so it's all our tools. So basically, our chat should be executed in some loop, and of course it should listen to something. And what it should listen, maybe it should listen to what we've called user input. User input, correct? And user input could be it could be text, of course, what we're doing normally, or it could be voice as well. Maybe if we call something like Whisper again here, let's bring it to the scheme, to the scene, I'm sorry. Let's remove it and let's put it somewhere here. Okay, and maybe let's put it here. Okay, so it's something we have to build. So let's think. So model will receive text by default. There are models which could receive audio now, like real-time audio models, and they don't transcribe the text, and they just reply the text, and they also could use tools. Should we support that or not if we have audio? It's something I don't know. It's something I don't know. Okay, comments will be somewhere. So maybe we can just yeah, really? Can we stop it? No, maybe curved, and let's save it like this, and maybe save it like this, and let's make it something like that. So maybe we need to think about just providing it directly like text to the model if we want. Yeah, so or we will leave it for the future. But again, the problem with all that systems that once we start building it, to change something, it would be really tough, really tough. Really, really tough. Oh, sometimes not, sometimes yes, so so it should be some the model, and it should have some instructions which should be able to understand that it should stop and wait other input, or while it should just append the context and continue. Of course, we can add to the scene a lot of things like our data, because it's a lot and there are good solutions to store it into the vector data format. So when we do some question, we can find some close information in our vector data storage to get actual data and add it to the context. Because context is limited, it's just, let's say, for entire model from OpenAI, it would be about really 100, 250,000 of tokens, which maybe 100 token. Yeah, it's not big at all. Or for O1, most probably it's 250 or 3,000, 300,000 tokens. For Claude, maybe it's in millions. For top cloud models, maybe it's about 1 million of tokens, which is much bigger, and it's working with that much nicer. But yeah, we need to understand how we need to modify that context and so on. If we have multiple users, of course, it would be own session of communication with that model. Maybe it still could put something into the generic knowledge, something which would be useful for all the users. Okay, let's talk not about some very generic. Let's think about our current implementation for our video, let's say, marketing, because video already done. It just do some operations with video, like transcribing it. Basically what every human can, not every, but many humans can do. Transcribe it, verify make the transcript or subtitles slightly better, more nice. Then it's can generate some description, video chapters, titles or multiple titles, or some ideas for thumbnail for the video, some text which could be added to that video in some other platforms like X or maybe Telegram or Facebook. Of course, it should be in context of current user and maybe even current. So he choose some category of the video. So he provides some additional context. I don't know how to display all of those in that diagram. It would be very large, but maybe we need. So, and then LLMs should know what to do. Or try to identify what to do. So if we don't want the model to guess, let's imagine if we want to say full process my latest stream on YouTube, it should go and process the latest stream on YouTube, and when it say full process, it should do the full process maybe with my default configuration. If user didn't say that, it should understand that. And then if it says that with my full process, it should understand, okay, I should make sure that I have content of that YouTube. I could transcribe it. Let's add some tools, because YouTube not always the best tool for multiple things. Oh, really? I just want to copy. Connect here. Let's call it YouTube-DLP. It's a really cool tool. Let's call it so we have Whisper, YouTube-DLP, FFmpeg. Search internet, search our data. Maybe search our data in our initial implementation should be under the question, but it's very nice to have, because then we can talk with that not only with like agent which can do some work, but with like very well aware a consultant, yes, very well aware manager of our videos, and it can say, we can ask, see, I recorded so many videos. What other video do you recommend me to record or write? Or maybe you could look at current trends and so on and so on. And what else I missed, or maybe where I should switch. Maybe it also can go to YouTube, like not only live chat interaction, but really just this. Maybe we can just say analytics. Yeah, that tool is sucks. I understand. Let's call it YouTube Analytics. Yeah, it's not well recognized name of YouTube, but let's call it like this. So read video streams, I mean properties and everything. Update video streams, it's what we use right now, and read as well. Live chat interactions, yes. YouTube analytics, no, but it's something which can try to analyze which video are performing well and which are not, which keywords are doing well, and so on and so on. So it can find some proper keywords and everything. Our live chat bot is connected, and I'm still doing yeah, transcribing of my real-time transcribing of what I'm saying. So my live chat is aware and can reply to some nice questions. Okay. So let's switch here. I'm just thinking if we add all the tools into the context and information. Yeah, I know that we send to them LLM when we have tools, we send some information how to call tools. But also it's a good practice to send those tools in system message or a separate message that say, hey, you can use this tools and this tool doing that, this tool doing that, and so on and so on. So it could be pretty helpful and nice if we add that. But it understands that if we want full process, for example, please process my YouTube stream, that we want to call it tools to YouTube-DLP, my stream, then convert it into the audio file, then transcribe it, then improve transcription using another LLMs model. So basically this one with some prompt. And then execute multiple prompts. And function to execute prompt, should it be like separate tool? Or it should understand it from its own that it should execute prompt? Oh, so many questions. Why I'm worried? Because I'm thinking, as we already saw, that not every model is equal in different tasks. For example, for most tasks, of course, we can use ChatGPT for OR, which is, I mean, one of the cheapest for OR mini, I'm sorry. But for some, probably other models are much more interesting, like like even O1, like even O1 mini for improving the transcripts, it's doing better than ChatGPT for O mini because it has thinking and it can look forward and see what could be the word. So it's just not making every sentence nice, but it's just trying to analyze the whole context and so on and so on. And we don't need to keep that model context in our overall context because it will be overflown very quickly. So let's say execute LLM config prompt context system message and so on. So we want to keep all of those tools. Also, of course, it would be I call it, I don't know, maybe operation system tools, like, I don't know, like work with files and folders. Maybe it could be database tools, work with tables and records. So in my attempt to think about it as about some generic solution, maybe I'm doing that wrong. Maybe what we have right now, it's already fine, but oh, hey Ladla, I missed your message. Can I see? I don't know how to enable the timestamps because I miss it completely. Timestamps. Okay. It's happened 1 minute ago. So yeah, welcome. If you have any specific question to me, you can ask. I see the chat. If you already drop off, it's also fine. Have a good day and good luck. If you want to talk about something, let's talk, because yeah, right now I'm doing exercise for myself, but talking with a person, of course, it's nicer than talk to myself all the time. Not all the time, but a lot, pretty, yeah, sustainable amount of time. Yeah. Also, yeah, you just reminded me that I need to make my chatbot support to split its message, its response into multiple messages, because right now I have not a very nice code. If we will look on my live chatbot, it's my shame. I have very simple approach that it has a long reply. I just send it's just, yeah, just cutting out a lot of content. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, that's it for this bot. Okay. So with all of those, it's our generic approach. The other question, of course, it's something like usage of other tools. And if we talk about other tools, we already have some platforms which allow us to build something like that, like lang. Oh, come on. We talked about that. Let's just search something. Lang. Python, no. LangChain. Oh, LangChain. Oh, bot here as well. LangChain. So let's just record the name of that thing. Can we copy just name? LangChain usage. Please allow me to copy something. Okay. LangChain prompt run response. How use summarize chain to LangChain prompt. Combine chain. Translate, summarize, response. So yeah, it's super simple example, of course, but I read slightly that it could support much more complex, very close to what we need. Also, we have solution from Microsoft. Yeah, it's some late time for me. Semantic kernel. Semantic kernel. Yes, I mean that. So, and should we use those tools and try to build it on our own? It's a good question. I have a wild idea, not too wild, of course, but let's just try copy that. I'm not sure if it's done the copy right. And we have something like, yeah, some model here. Let's copy. Hey. Oh, I'm not sure about one pro. What do you think about architecture here? Should I use LangChain or semantic kernel? Own implementation would be beneficial. Okay. Can I move it? Screenshots. At least lets me organize it like list, like details. Really? Oh, now I can send. Interesting. So it should analyze the image we've created right now and try to see if it's good or bad. Yeah, let's do that exercise. It would be really interesting. What are the benefits we would receive if we will implement that? It would provide us ability to quickly add more tools here. And if we will really think very well about the overall context maintaining, and when we need to execute something out of context, when we need to put something in context, maybe we need every time execute something out of context and just append context, and then it would be again new session with that new context. I mean, every request to LLMs actually a new session. How you maintain context of the conversation, it's wild because you send it context. Unless you don't use something which built to mimic that, like agents. in agents in OpenAI or something. Again, you see I'm still discovering that field for myself. But if you will have, for example, OS tools here, like work with files and folders, and with all that reasoning and everything, we can ask it to write some code. Yes, and it could put into the code. We just can add some tools to execute Python, to execute type, to just run the build. Yeah, it would be complex, but in some specific case, we can do that. Yes, and it could become not our marketing, video marketing, but our developer. And if we connect some other things, like, I don't know, like saving to the files, like, and say, hey, please analyze our code here and write some developer instructions or developer design. I hate writing developer design. I mean, it's useful, it's needed, but it's taking so much time. And as I just write a developer design for that, and it will do that, of course it's cool. So it's our separate developer, separate video marketing, and etc., etc. But would it be as nice as if we create designated tool? That is the question. That is the question. Okay, let's look what we have as our response. It would be very high level response. I wasn't sure. That flow user input LLMs tools output is quite standard for agent style applications that orchestrate an LLM alongside various utilities or API. The general idea is to have policy layer, the agent, that decide when to call a tool and when to rely on the model's own reasoning. LangChain and Semantic Kernel, faster prototyping, both provide easy way to wire up LLM calls, memory, prompt templates, external tools. Community support, built-in patterns, agent retrieval memory patterns, saving you time on boilerplate and edge cases. Less custom control. If you have very specific or unusual requirements, you might feel constrained. Dependency overhead. Sometimes you only need a subset of functionality, yet you bring a bigger library. Okay. It's for everything, yeah? Okay. Rolling your own, full flexibility. Lightweight. Few features you might want the overhead of a bigger library. Drawback. Slower to implement. You must update your code to keep up. But it would be the same with this thing. If my code is not, I mean, if I'm not aware of some cool practices and they become available, my code probably will not benefit from that, even if I use LangChain. If you want a working prototype quickly, you're not sure exactly how your system might evolve, but you want tried and true patterns. You appreciate the safety net of docs, community, and built-in practices. Go custom, you have very specific novel workflow. You want total control. Yeah, total control is a word which make me feel good. But yeah, it's not always what you can get in this word. You're comfortable designing the prompting orchestration logic from scratch. It's what we do right now, but maybe we could use, yeah, one of those libraries to start. Okay. Especially if your architecture depends on multiple calls to LLM, memory retrieval, or tool usage. Once you outgrow the patterns and need deeper customization, you can always peel off the layers you don't need and roll those parts yourself. And have extremely particular needs, building yourself from the start might be worth it. Okay, okay, makes sense. So yeah, as I said, it will provide very generic response that say, yeah, go with what what works well for other people. What works well for other people. Okay, maybe maybe it would be good. So I need to spend some time to learn LangChain. Yes, probably yes. So what we can, on which moment we can wrap up today? So let's see, we have our live chatbot and we have our live chatbot functions, live transcriber, a news extractor, and we have our a real-time mic transcriber, which probably not exactly ready to be published. So what we can do, we probably can prepare the code to be committed and pushed to our branch and add in some of the README files. Let's see if we can do it today. We already have more than 1 hour stream. Probably, you know, let's put it for tomorrow. Why? Because because I have other tasks to do. So we combined all our code and we will ask some model like O1 or O1 Pro to write us some README files, excluding our file for real-time mic transcriber. And then we can switch and try to implement that sync like that. But at the same time, we want to make it some external interface. And those things should be not only writable locally, but maybe they should be written in some Azure. User input, context. Yeah, it's much more to add here actually, much more to add, because user input, it's not just user input. We should have ability to build specific user context. But again, it would be for our tool, which is video marketing. If we want it's really generic, maybe having user context also will work, because we need understand the rules. Yes, for example, if user, because I'm thinking about, okay, if I'll do some generic AI agent, why I should stop on just video marketing? Why I couldn't do it to help me write the code? It's already do. I mean, ChatGPT already writing a lot of code in my streams, but why couldn't write it itself with much less interaction with me? But for that, it should follow, not the same pattern as for video marketing. And if we can make it all very universal, it's the question I'm thinking. It's the question which is interesting. So if we find a way to make it universal, I would be happy, because in that case, creating other agents would be much more simpler. So of course we should have something here. Building core of our AI agent context rules plus user input context, something like that. Because like, let's say what we have, like this thing, yeah. So this thing is really very standard. I mean, even this thing is very standard. So all of that is very standard. And it could be covered by LangChain and Semantic kernel. What I need, what I want, it's for that orchestrator to build something which will produce rules for that orchestrator based on our task. And it should be quite universal, so we shouldn't think about every new problem from scratch. Maybe we just could, okay, so if you try to think about something, it should be universal. It should be universal. It should be good enough. And then, yeah, we could. I like LangChain and Semantic kernel because that thing like which model to connect, etc., etc. There's some common interface most probably is implemented there, so you don't need to implement like for each model connectors because it's already done. There are probably some tools ready. Yes, there are probably some tools already ready. LangChain. Why they have commercial? So it's not completely open source. Commercial. LangSmiths. LangGraph. Build the application using LangChain open source components and third-party integration. Use LangGraph to build stateful arguments, agents, I'm sorry, with first-class streaming and human in the loop. And use LangSmiths to inspect, monitor, evaluate your application so that it can continuously optimize and deploy with confidence. So basically LangSmith, it's AI agent as developer. LangGraph is something like what we want to build. And it's both commercial and integrations, and LangChain is something we can use for free, as I understand. And components, high level, concepts. Do we have components? Testing, glossary. Integration, API reference. What are integration providers? OpenAI. Okay, so it's something which we probably can use, and yeah, they have Google Vertex AI, which is yeah, vector database, Google community. No idea what's that. Anthropic, another great LLM. Chroma. Need to look. Hugging Face, okay. Grok, Pinecone, another vector storage. Llama is way to execute most probably free and open source models. Voyage AI. So a lot of things I'm not aware, but maybe it's cool. So it's all the providers and they just range them by probably downloads, not by downloads, by something else. But yeah, first of all, of course, much more downloads than everything else. So yeah. And for some providers, we have several. Retriever, LLM, papapam, and for LLM. see here. Chat models, and they support structured output. Overview, okay, key concepts, scheme definition. Does it have what supports them, what not? Chat OpenAI. I know that not only Chat OpenAI, also Llama supports structured output. Okay. So get started. Get started. Chart models and prompts, semantic search, classification, extractions, chat models and prompts, orchestration, chatbots. Build a chatbot that incorporates memory. Come on, it's super simple. Agents, build an agent that interacts with external tools. Retrieval, basically it's what it's look into some vector store to a lot of data and just get what we need. Probably yes. Memory of user interaction, multi-step retrieval, question answering with SQL. Okay, it's just SQL tool. Summarization should be very simple. I mean, it's just chat completion. No. Question answering with graph database. Something interesting but very specific. Evaluate. Tutorial before, etc., etc. So API reference, API, core, base packages, integrations. I'm looking maybe on tools, base packages, text splitters, experimental. What is experimental agents? Okay, it's very API specific thing. Can we go to the docs and find something like tools? Integrations, third components, open source components, third party integrate, and components is just conceptual guide. Let's see. Architecture, measure tools, key concepts. Can be passed chat models that support tools colon, allowing the model to request in the okay. Tool interface, runnable interface, create tools using tool decorator, multiply, okay, using tool directly, configure schema, tool artifacts, special tool annotations, runnable configs, best practices, interfaces, related resources, IP reference for tool, how to create custom tool, how to pass tool integration docs. Search. Oh, we found tools. Nice. We found tools. And we have that Bing search is paid. Brave search is free. That is free. Nice. Google search is paid. Serper. URL snippet title. Search API. Code interpreter. Python. Azure Container Apps Dynamic Session. Python. Sandbox lifetime 1 hour. Support file uploads. Text images. Barely code interpreter resets on executions. Okay. Support self-hosting? No. To be data analysis Python in beta, JavaScript 24 hours. Productivity, GitHub toolkit, GitLab toolkit, Gmail toolkit free with limit of 250 quota units per user per second. Maybe it's goal. Jira toolkit, Office toolkit, Slack toolkit. I think that's why it's used so much in such applications. I saw that there are so many Slack integration for agents because it's free. Multi-on toolkit, web browsing, 40 free request, playwright browser toolkit. It's basically just you execute request on your own, and that is like framework to do some unit test probably. I even wrote something in that playwright maybe a few years ago, but I don't remember all the details. Database, SQL database toolkit, Spark SQL toolkit, and another tools. Ask News. Really? We try to find some free news engines. If we failed, we just signed something. Bing search. Bing search in Azure enabled. ChatGPT plugins. To daily image generator. Yeah, nice. Nice. We have the daily image generator. Add an AI. Some search file system. It's cool that we have file system because, yeah, because we have that requirement here. OS tools basically work with files. So Whisper is part of executable LLM basically. It's just special Whisper. YouTube-DLP and FFmpeg shouldn't be complex enough. Search internet. We saw multiple tools. They mostly not free, but it's fine. YouTube probably. Let's go and see if we have YouTube tools. But I mean, we already built something like that. YouTube search package contains YouTube video, avoiding users there. What? And we have a lot of other. Oh, Wikipedia is free. Nice. Install, upgrade, YouTube, adapted AP reference. And which tools do we have? It's adapted. YouTube search tool is say that has additional methods runnable. Go back. So parameters search for YouTube videos associated with a person. The input of the tools should be a comma separated list. Handle metadata response format, content and artifacts. With retrace, single input configurable. I don't know. Stream events. Yeah, we need to learn about the tools more. Example. Okay, search tool. Looks like it's a no. YouTube search tool. And why it's so long? Looks like it just took some text from just other documentation about the runnable generator or something. It's not related to our YouTube. Okay, and here for YouTube tools, LangChain, custom tool to search, extract, transcribe YouTube video, even transcribe. Cool. Show you agent that transcribes the top 3 video results from blog Google HR. Celebrity should see the results stored in transcription to do cleanup, keywords, etc. And it's YouTube tool, custom YouTube search. Okay, run suffix in for videos in data videos. Just unload YouTube search person. And YouTube search person is YouTube search. Custom YouTube transcribe tool, base tool, someone summarize well URL CSV URL CSV data type URL CSV receive type transcription YouTube get YouTube transcribe and YouTube get YouTube transcribe it's YouTube utils. I'm looking at that because I'm created something similar. Oh, Whisper, really? So, and we use YouTube from PyTube. I see. So we YouTube to that we download it, get and download it, and then we just say model transcribe video URL. And model is load model, and load model is Whisper load model base transcribe video URL. Does Whisper support transcribing videos? Interesting. I didn't know that Whisper. I know that you can provide its file, audio file. Maybe it can download something from YouTube. Really? Transcription, VPass, get YouTube transcribe VPass. Yes, it's something more logical, but it's local pass. It's not URL. Transcription, transcribed pass, dump, to do. I mean, it's it's quite a simple implementation. It's very simplistic, but it has some stars, some likes. Okay, well, looks good. I mean, not good, but I understand that we can rewrite what we have as the tools, and we have some tools, but we need more. So probably we could try with our luck with that application with LangChain, but we need to learn about that. In probably I'll use several next streams for that. So next stream, yeah, it's more than 1 hour and a half. I'll do next stream. I'm finalizing my current code and commit it and writing some nice documentation, and it would be ready for some shorter video if someone will be interested in. And then we start to our new project to build generic AI agent, but we start with our current tool for video marketing basically, so which will have context of YouTube, of Whisper, of FMP, of YouTube-DLP, of search, and yeah, and maybe some specific tools like finding proper keywords or hashtags on YouTube which people are using right now. Sorry. And yeah, also other tools just to be able to preserve the results somewhere in files or in database, because we want to have an interface, maybe as website, and host all of that in cloud, so we can ask it to do something and we don't need to keep our computer like on for that, and it can do whatever we asked, and yeah, just notify us, maybe in some message in Telegram bot. Yeah, I like Telegram, I use it a lot, so maybe I will use Telegram as different thing. Let's very quickly look at the LangChain Telegram. So it's a chat loaders. Create message dump. Hello message. Sorry. So looks like at least we could use like Telegram, like Slack. So it should be good. Notebook show how to use Telegram chat loader. The Telegram class help map export the Telegram conversation to LangChain chat messages. Chat loader. And maybe if you say just chatbot and looks at is that hit cup. It should be MIT. Okay. Python chatbot. And what it use? Base face vector store telebot. I think, yeah, because we use the telebot is basically handle all the work we're doing. Request, format, Telegram token, handle voice, open, make a message, message handler start, conversation tracking. Yeah, looks simple. Looks simple. So yeah, probably we could make it notify me in Telegram when something is ready. So with that, it would be nice. Okay. Oh, you see, it's not transcribing me nicely all the time, but oh. Again. Hi, Prince. We just need to say, if you want, if you want to make sure it will not say you, we need to ask it for that. Yeah, I need to update that as well. It's one of the small bug. After some time, it start to say something like you, because I'm preserving it as you. Okay, I'll commit the code very soon, and I'll try to fix all the defects, and I'll put it on my GitHub, so you will be able to get the latest details of all my chats, and probably I even add some batch file which could start everything, like 2 chatbots at the same time. So we will have full bot functionality. The only thing I'll leave for future is our microphone bot, which, yeah, it's nice, but it requires slightly more work, as we saw. So thank you for everyone who was with me today. Thank you, Prince of Vladla, Prince. I'm sorry if I'm spelling it wrong. I wish every one of you to have a really great time. And yeah, I'm always talking about that, that I'm a romantic developer because I still believe that people are still not doomed. We have a lot of romance in our heart. We have a lot of chances to increase our wisdom, our acceptance. We have a big hearts, and all of those hopefully will allow us to survive in the upcoming era of real artificial intelligence, which which probably would be developed in nearest years. I couldn't say this year, but technology on the level when we can develop it, and surely we will not understand it, and surely I believe all the sci-fi movies you saw about artificial intelligence, they would be more or less legit, because we are very non-logical creatures for artificial intelligence. So yeah. Okay, so that it? Uh, yes, I believe we will as well. I believe we will. And we have some time for that. So yeah, let's use this time good. And my bot don't take into account what I'm talking right now, so it's not aware of my current context. That's why it couldn't support our conversation very well. Sorry for that. I probably improve it slightly. Okay, so see you next time. I'm streaming every day, normally at 10 p.m. Pacific time, but sometimes I could slightly shift my streams. Anyway, you will see in recording, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below any stream. I will look at them before I start the streaming, and we can start from them. So yeah, have a really nice day and nice time.